I do not believe that LinkedIn groups are more valuable than Facebook groups. I think that a group that is making a profit is more valuable than one that's not, regardless of wherever it might be.
I'm speaking to a guy who owns a couple of LinkedIn groups, and he has not been monetizing them, but it's full of business owners, so it could be interesting. And so I can't really do the valuation based on profits, obviously. And I know that a LinkedIn group is should be more valuable than a Facebook group usually. So how should I go about this when he's asking about price?
Well, I mean, to me, it is based on profit, right? So I would start with, I mean, I would probably put it back to him. I would say the way these things usually work is that they sell for 1 year's profit. What was the profit of the last 12 months? And if the answer is, well, there's zero profit, and say, well, then basically the group from a marketability standpoint doesn't have value because it hasn't been monetized. And so it would be something that would be very low. I mean, we'd be probably talking about 1,000, maybe $1,500 for it. I would float that and see what the person says. I do not believe that LinkedIn groups are more valuable than Facebook groups. I think that a group that is making a profit is more valuable than one that's not, regardless of wherever it might be.
Good point. Yeah, he actually said, so I asked him, are you familiar with how these groups are usually being evaluated? And he said, so in the past, I he sold it, or a friend of his, for $2 per member. So that's what he's expecting. This particular group got like 6,500, so he's looking at like 12K.
Okay.
Um,
So it's not a crazy amount, and you might not be opposed to that if you see a monetizability of it. But to me, that would definitely be earnout and or seller finance based because I don't know how active it is, and that's going to be, how you would want to look at the stats to see how active are the members in it, etc. But if you are comfortable with your plan to monetize it, then I would buy it based on if you wanted to pay that. I wouldn't. I would negotiate. But let's say that you say, okay, well, so the question then is, how can I pay you $2 per member? I can't pay you $2 per member for something that hasn't been proven to do anything, and there's no profit or anything. I'm obviously planning on doing something with it. So let's structure that as, and then get seller financing and or an earnout. I'd prefer 100% earnout. And I would be even willing to give them 100% of the money that comes in initially until he has whatever price you agree on. But I sure wouldn't pay him any cash up front.